All right, so you're thinking about getting a home blood pressure monitor.
Smart.
Smart move.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
let's be real for a second.
Yeah,
The number of choices out there is a little overwhelming.
it really is.
Yeah, it can be a lot, so that's why we're here.
Absolutely.
We're doing a deep dive today on blood pressure monitors so that you can feel confident picking the one that's right for you.
For sure. For sure.
We're looking at some really great sources today.
Yeah.
We've got WebMD, Omron Healthcare, Hello Heart,
Lots of good info out there.
and even the British Heart Foundation.
Oh, yeah. They know their stuff over there.
So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why even bother with home monitoring? I mean, isn't going to the doctor enough?
You know, that's what a lot of people think, but home blood pressure monitoring, it's getting more popular these days.
It seems like it.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
It's not just about convenience. It's really about giving you the full picture.
Yeah, because I feel like a single reading at the doctor's office, that's just a snapshot.
Exactly. It's a single frame of a much longer movie.
Right. You're not getting the whole story, are you?
Not even close.
Yeah.
And that's where this whole idea of masked hypertension comes in, which actually affects a surprising number of people.
Masked hypertension, that sounds kind of scary.
It is. It basically means you might have normal blood pressure at the doctor's office.
Because you're nervous?
Exactly. White coat syndrome, right. But then when you're at home, relaxed, your blood pressure might actually be higher.
Oh, wow. So you wouldn't even know you had a problem.
That's the thing, and that's why home monitoring can be so eye-opening. It helps you see those hidden patterns and gives you a more realistic picture of your heart health.
It's like having a backstage pass to your own health data.
I like that.
So, okay, let's say we're convinced, right? We want to get a monitor, but then we see all the different types.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy there.
It does. You've got your manual ones.
The old school kind.
Yeah, like something out of a vintage medical drama. And then there are the aneroid monitors.
So the ones with the dial, right?
Right. A little bit of old school charm there.
A little bit.
But of course, we've got to talk about the digital ones too.
Oh yeah, those are super popular for a reason.
Sleek, modern.
Easy to use.
Exactly.
It's like choosing between a vintage record player, a reliable cassette deck, or a modern streaming service.
I like that analogy. So tell me more about these different types. Like, what are the pros and cons of each?
Well, with the manual ones, you're really relying on your skills.
You have to be able to read that little gauge.
Exactly. They can be accurate, but only in trained hands.
Yeah, I can see how that would be tricky.
Definitely. Then you've got the Android monitors, which are simple to use, but you have to make sure they're calibrated correctly.
Calibrate. What does that even mean?
It basically means making sure they're still giving you accurate readings, and you have to do that every so often.
Ah, okay, so kind of high maintenance.
A little bit, but they're usually pretty reliable. Now, the digital ones, they're generally considered the most user-friendly.
Especially the ones that inflate automatically.
Oh, yeah, those are great. But there's one thing that people often overlook when it comes to digital monitors.
Oh, what's that?
The difference between wrist and arm monitors.
That's the big deal. I mean, a wrist monitor seems way more convenient.
Oh, I know, I get it. They seem really practical, especially if you're on the go. But here's the thing, they can be pretty finicky.
Finicky how?
Well, they're super sensitive to positioning. Even if you move your wrist just a little bit, it can throw off the reading.
Really? I had no idea.
It's true. Upper arm monitors, on the other hand, tend to be more consistent, more reliable. They're not as influenced by those small movements.
So it's all about that upper arm placement.
You got it.
Okay, that's good to know. So we've got the basic types down,
We're getting there.
but then we start looking at the features and
Oh boy.
yeah, it's like a whole other level.
It can be. You've got your cuff sizes, validations, memory storage. It's a lot to take in.
It's like learning a new language.
It kind of is.
So let's break it down a little bit, shall we?
Let's do it.
First up, cuff size. Why is that so important?
Think of it like wearing a pair of shoes that are 2 sizes too small.
Ouch.
Exactly. An ill-fitting cuff is going to be uncomfortable, and it's definitely not going to give you an accurate reading.
So make sure you're getting a monitor with the cuff size that actually fits your arm.
Absolutely. It's all about that snug but comfortable fit.
Makes sense. Now, what about these validations we keep hearing about? Are those important?
Oh, definitely. You want to look for monitors that have been validated by reputable organizations,
Like who?
like the AAMI, or if you're in the UK, the BIHS.
Okay. And what do those validations actually mean?
It basically means those monitors have been put through rigorous testing.
To make sure they're accurate.
Exactly. So you know you're getting a monitor that's reliable and trustworthy.
So it's like a seal of approval for blood pressure monitors.
Exactly. You got it. You don't want to mess around with something as important as your health, so those validations are crucial.
Okay, validated it is. What about this memory storage thing? Is that a big deal?
It depends. For some people, it's a game changer. Imagine you could have a whole log of your blood pressure readings without having to write everything down.
Yeah, no more little notebooks.
Exactly. It's especially helpful if you're tracking your progress over time.
Or if you want to share that information with your doctor.
Exactly. It's
Yep.
like having a digital health journal built right into your
It's
device.
like having your own personal health stats right at your fingertips. Speaking of going digital, what about those blood pressure apps? Some of them say they can measure your blood pressure just by using your phone.
Right. Is that even possible?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm a little bit skeptical.
You're right to be cautious. While some apps are really great tools, especially when you pair them with a validated monitor, those ones that say they can measure your blood pressure just with your phone, well, they're not held to the same standards as a regular monitor would be.
So they haven't gone through that same rigorous testing.
Not necessarily, no. The FDA doesn't regulate them the same way they do with traditional blood pressure monitors.
So it's really a bit of a wild west out there in the app world. But what about the apps that are designed to work with a monitor you already have? Are there any advantages there?
Absolutely. That's where things get really interesting. It's like this. Your monitor, it collects all the raw data, right? And then the app comes in, and it transforms that data into something you can actually use.
So it's like having a translator for your health data.
Exactly. They can take all those numbers, make charts and graphs, even send you reminders for your next blood pressure check.
It's like having a personal assistant for your health.
Right. And some apps even give you feedback on your readings. It's like having a little health coach in your pocket.
Okay, so it's less about replacing the monitor altogether and more about making the whole experience better and more useful.
Exactly. It's about making that data actionable, insightful, empowering. And that's what's so exciting about the way health tech is evolving.
It's like the difference between having a regular map and having a GPS that talks to you.
I like that. A GPS for your health.
Right, it guides you, tells you where to go. But even with all the fancy technology, it's still important to talk to your doctor, huh?
Absolutely. 100%. Technology is great, but it can't replace the expertise and the guidance of a healthcare professional.
They're like the ultimate guide in our health journey.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. We've talked about the different types of monitors, those must-have features, and even this whole world of apps and connectivity. It's almost like, where do we even start to narrow down all the choices and find the perfect monitor for us? So many options.
Right.
How do we even begin to narrow it down? It's overwhelming.
It's kind of like finding the right pair of shoes.
Okay.
It's not just about style.
Right.
It's about comfort and support and how well they fit into your life.
So finding that perfect fit is what we're aiming for here, but with blood pressure monitors. So how do we do that?
It really comes down to understanding that the best monitor, the very personal thing,
Okay.
it's about you and what you need and what your preferences are, your lifestyle. So what might that actually look like then?
Well, let's say you travel a lot, right? A smaller digital monitor, that's easy to pack. That might be your top priority.
Makes sense.
But if you have trouble seeing basic there, you'd probably want one with a large, easy-to-read display, right?
Right.
And for someone who loves data, all those charts and graphs, a monitor with memory storage or app connectivity could be a game changer for them.
Yeah, it's all about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears,
There you go.
trying to find the porridge that's just right, but instead of porridge, it's blood pressure monitors.
Exactly. And just like Goldilocks, don't be afraid to try a few different options out. You know what I mean?
So read reviews,
Yeah,
compare features, maybe even try a couple of different models if you can.
exactly. It's like test driving a car before you buy it.
Oh, yeah, you want to make sure it feels right.
Right. And your doctor, they can be a huge help in this whole process too.
Yeah, they can give you some recommendations.
Exactly. They can offer some personalized advice based on your health history and stuff, and they can help you figure out which features are most important for you.
They're like your own personal blood pressure monitor shopper.
There you go. I like that.
So we've learned a lot today. We talked about the different types of monitors, must-have features, the world of apps even.
It's a lot to take in.
What's the one thing you want our listener to remember about all of this?
Just this. Choosing a blood pressure monitor, it's personal. There's no right answer for everyone.
Okay.
But if you do your research, consider your needs, and talk to your doctor, you'll find the monitor that empowers you to take control of your health.
I love that. Take control of your health. Well said.
You got it.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive on blood pressure monitors. We looked at some great info from WebMD Omron Healthcare. Hello, Art.
Don't forget the British Heart Foundation.
Oh, yeah, and the British Heart Foundation. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See you then.